Yo, yo, yo. What's good, folks? Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're at in the world. Snapzilla Gorilla here, aka Tyrus Bane. Welcome to the Definition of Anarchy. Today I want to talk about police terrorism, okay? I'm going to talk about police terrorism, and specifically I'm going to talk about a recent victim of police terrorism. Not only that, I'm going to talk about the families of people, family members of people suffering from mental health issues, okay? Suffering from mental health issues. So, a few days ago, a young man, a naval veteran by the name of Angelo Quinta in Northern California was murdered by the police, okay? A police terrorist murdered Angelo Quinta. And he did so by kneeling on this man's neck for more than 5 minutes, okay? He kneeled on his neck for more than 5 minutes, and a few days later in the hospital, he perished, all right? The young man died. A naval veteran who apparently, well, according to the family, was suffering from some form of PTSD, some mental health issues, okay? And the biggest mistake that his family member could have made was to call the police on this man when he was going through some form of distress, all right? Let me tell y'all something. The last thing you want to do is call the police on your own family if they are having some type of mental break, all right? If they're having some type of mental break, the last thing you want to do is call an organization that is going to send out a armed, badged, bulletproof vested motherfucking pig, okay? There are plenty of resources for veterans suffering from mental health issues. There's a hotline. There's a way to get the VA involved or whatever the case may be. The last thing you want to do is call the police. I place 50% of the blame for Angelo Quinta's death on the family member that called the cops on him, all right? I don't understand this need, this desire to call the police on people you love who are going through something that you don't quite understand. If you don't understand what they're going through, then get somebody who might be able to understand involved, all right? Because when you call the police, the last thing they want to do, especially here in the United States, is de-escalate the situation. What they're going to do is react. Police forces are reactionary forces. They are reactionary. You understand? They react. They don't step back. They don't look at a situation. They don't de-escalate. They react. And they don't react in a way that is productive. They react with force. You understand what I'm saying? So any perceived threat of force coming towards them will be met with tenfold the amount of force from them. So what you did was you called the police and said that, oh, this guy Angelo Quinta, he's a veteran suffering from PTSD and he's having some form of mental distress, and I need y'all to come help out. What you already have done. Let me tell you what goes through the mind of a police officer based on the training. Based on the training, right, of the police, of the pigs. They are going to treat any subject of a phone call, right? Like if you call and say, hey, somebody's doing this to me, or somebody is this, that, and the third. Oh, this guy who's wearing this and that, and it looks like this. Already in their mind, they have identified or identification of the enemy. You understand? Police are trained to treat the people that they encounter as the enemy. You understand? They are trained to restrain people. They're trained to kidnap people. They are trained to kill, right? If they sense any form of resistance or any form of danger, that perceived danger, all right? And it doesn't take much for a pig to perceive danger, because 9 out of 10 of them, yep, I'll be so bold as to say 9 out of 10 of these pigs are cowards. They have fear in their heart. And a scared animal, a frightened animal, is more dangerous than a cold, calculated animal. You understand what I'm saying? The fear that these people have in their hearts and in their minds, right, is cultivated, right? It's cultivated by their training. It's cultivated, it's watered, you know what I'm saying? Like the training, these academies, all they do is encourage the growth of this type of behavior, this type of mentality in these pigs.
North is on the right.
That's what's going on. Now, I don't 100% know what goes on in the training, but I do know from certain individuals that they basically they go out on the beat every day. They're looking for trouble, right? They're looking for anybody that might look like they might have an issue. And their mission is to extort, kidnap, right? Extort people with these fines for silly infractions. To kidnap people, to increase the profit of the prison industrial complex, right? They send people to prison to go work for 50 cents an hour. You know what I'm saying? And lastly, they're trained to kill. Extort, kidnap, and kill. Those are the 3 things they're trained to do. They're not trained to help people with mental health issues. And what's funny is this person that called the police on them was like, oh, I thought the police were capable of handling someone with a mental health issue. Where did you hear that? You see, I have to look at this individual that called the police on him very dubiously, because ain't no way in this information age, with all this shit going on with the police, right? With all the abuse, the brutality, all the murders, right? All the treatment of individuals by the police. There's no way that this person thought, in my mind, this is what I think. This is what I think. I do not believe that this person thought that the police would be able to handle it in a safe manner. I would go as far as to say, was it deliberate? Did they know what could possibly happen if they called the cops on someone going through some mental distress? Now, apparently there's a video going around. I haven't seen the video myself. I want to see the video. I should see it. But apparently what they said would happen in the video is when you see Angelo Quinta and he's all bloody. You know, his face is bloody and all that other stuff. He got scratches and scrapes and all that shit. Probably when they tried to wrestle him to the ground. And he doesn't appear to be fighting. He doesn't appear to be doing anything but complying. But yet this dude is on the ground and he got a knee on his neck. He winds up with a knee on his neck for 5 minutes. You understand what I'm saying? So, and that's familiar, right? Well, who else did it happen to? George Floyd, right? Listen, the cops, they're not who to call, right? They're not who to call. The person that called the cops on Angelo, you fucked up, all right? You thought the police could handle it. You thought the police were this, that. I don't know what it is about people, certain individuals that think the police are just you know what's funny? ABL, Anthony Brian Logan, said once that the police are the last bastion of hope in the black community. That's what he said. Now, mind you, Angelo Quinta is not black, and that's very important to understand. You see, police brutality and police terrorism does not just affect black people. It affects everyone. Everyone that these pigs encounter, that's who it affects. Now, if you encounter them and they're in a bad mood, watch out. You understand what I'm saying? I'm not saying every police encounter is going to end up with, some brutality going on, some terrorism, some murder. But if you trigger that police officer, that could be your ass. And it shouldn't be like that. It shouldn't be like that. We shouldn't have to, we should not be fearing the police. The police should be fearing us, the people. The people should be the ones sparking fear in these pigs, because guess what? There's more of us than them. We pay their motherfucking salary. We pay these pigs salaries. They're supposed to work for us, but the Supreme Court ruled that they don't have to serve and protect us, right? That's not their job. You know what their job is? To enforce laws, to protect property and all this other shit, right? To be an enforcement arm of the United States government, right? To be an enforcement arm of the politicians. And the politicians work for us. So it's just ironic how everything that these politicians do on a daily basis seeks to take more rights from us, right? To create more laws and take more rights from us. That is the aim of the politician. But they work for us. How does this work? They're supposed to be representing us. They're supposed to be our representatives. Yet, everything they do goes against our very best interest. Everything they do goes against our best interest. Period. You know why? Because our interests don't serve them. If it doesn't serve them, if something doesn't serve the politicians, then they won't serve us. If it's not in their best interest to serve us, then they don't care about our best interest. Believe that to retrieve that. And that's just human nature, right? When you place a small minority in charge of the majority, that's what you get. Once you give these people power over you, they will be corrupted. That's just what it is. Power corrupts, and absolute power corrupts absolutely. You understand what I'm saying? So it's just human nature. That's why it's very important that we understand that we don't need these politicians. We don't need so-called representatives. We can represent ourselves. We can represent ourselves. We can represent our own interests. And we can do it in a group. We can do it individually. Because they don't care about the individual, these politicians. These cops, they don't care about the individual. What they care about, right, at the end of the day, is collecting the paycheck, these pigs, and getting home to their family. All right? And anybody they encounter out on the street that they feel might disrupt that in any form or fashion, that's their motherfucking ass, even if they're not a real threat. And yes, there are cops out there that are racist as well. And they go and they hunt down black folks and they try to set them up, all this other shit. They have throwaway pistols for that very reason. So, yes, there is a disparity, right? There are cops that are racist. But police terrorism does not just apply to black people. It doesn't just affect black people negatively. It affects everyone that is not a cop. And if it hasn't affected you yet, more power to you. One day it might. And those of you who back the blue and love the popo, all it takes is one bad day. And they don't care whether you support them or not. These pigs don't care whether you support them. They're human beings. If they in a bad mood and they have this gun in their hand and they have this perceived a magical ability and a magical power over us, and they have this qualified immunity, once you lump all those things together and give it to these pigs, it creates a monster. Essentially, it creates a monster. And that's what we have. These motherfuckers are monsters, yo. These pigs are monsters that we have created. We created these monsters. And the biggest problem that I see is that these pigs don't answer to the people. It'd be different if it were like a private police force where they did answer to the people and they had to answer to the people, not to some crooked politician, not to a mayor, not to a commissioner, not to a police chief.
Your destination is ahead on the left.
But the people.
Your destination is ahead on the left.
They don't keep their job unless they serve the people. That's how it should work. That's how it should work for all these politicians. But it doesn't. All right? What happens? What happens when these people fuck up? I mean, they have to really be like, I don't know, like.
You have arrived at your destination. The route guidance is now finished.
I mean, that so-called politician would really have to fuck up and really have to be caught with their pants down. And really they pissed off, the other controllers. They piss off the other controllers. That's how. You piss off the right person and you're a politician, you'll get in trouble. But if you piss off the people that you represent, you don't get in trouble. You see how that works? Anyway, much love to you guys. I'll let you later.